Hello everybody, this is Ardwick, and welcome to my favorite level of the game. I believe it's called the Crystal Palace, and I love the music here too, actually. It's really cool. This level is sort of designed to feel almost like a Zelda temple, almost, which again is something I really kind of like. Ugh. So how does that work? Does the rest of the area go up? Or are we going down? We're on the side of a mountain, so I want to say the area to the left of us, to the right of us, is moving up or down. That theory is sort of supported by the strange shadow anomalies we're seeing to the left and right, but even so, that's really bizarre and strange. This level will do that sort of stuff to you. It will sort of deceive you in the way it looks and acts. So both those places earlier that, the red and blue doors we saw a moment ago were locked, so it's time to explore this way. Huh, I spy a new enemy. Show me your talent, sir. Right, so those can get a little bit annoying. I believe Gimbario will tell us a little bit about them. Swoopula. We saw similar things over in Level 2's Dry Ruins. I believe they were also at bats there, but I can't remember what they were called. Swoopers, perhaps? I'm not sure. But the basic thing about these enemies to note is that they can suck out Mario's HP if you let them attack you, and they're also up at the ceiling until you attack them. When they're up that high, you can't jump on them, so we have to do something else. In this case, we'll do Mega Quake. And drastically reduce their HP while getting a chance to actually attack them. Now, when they drain your HP, it'll do like 2 or so, unless you have a different badge set up. If you have the Zap Tap badge or a Voltstrom, they won't be able to do anything to you at all. But both those things are, once again, not allowed by the rules, so we are doing no such thing. We can't hammer them. Right, so actually something I noticed about the previous video, I went and looked back, and if you think about it, it's actually really, really bizarre. The part that is bizarre, of course, is the Duplighost. He didn't exist until after Koops hit the switch, so what does that imply? Does it imply that he spawned out of nowhere, or he teleported in and that's how he did it? Maybe he was the switch in disguise. Maybe there didn't need to be a switch. But that implies that he's also capable of replicating the effects of a switch, including moving physical objects around. That wouldn't make sense. Think about that sort of stuff for too long and it sort of drives you nuts. Anyway, we upgraded Pericari earlier, and now I can do this. I believe it's called Air Raid is what it's called, and it does 6 HP to everybody per turn, so that's kind of awesome. Thank you, voters. That actually was a smart idea. I will have to do that more often. Now that we've already seen what he can do, we don't have to stick around to watch every fight, just as we've been doing before, so we're just going to skip past that one. So, what has our adventuring earned us? Why, I believe it's earned us a blue key, which will help us because we saw a door with a blue... actually, I believe the door itself was blue earlier. So if we go back over here and switch the doors here back to blue, we'll be able to progress. God, that is so weird. I really want to know how that works. There's an explanation behind the strangeness of this level, except for that, I've never found out how that works. Do you move it? Because the majority of the level is back here, so does that mean they moved the entire building just by hitting that simple switch? I thought I forgot something, so that's why I went back a second ago, but it appears I didn't, so we're just gonna go ahead. Actually, did you notice that? The reflection of Mario in the background is acting really strange. It wasn't there at all in the previous room, but now here it is, and it's acting independently. Again, it's the implication that this place sort of has a system where things aren't what they seem. See, if you go back here, you're actually walking behind the mirror, and it turns out it's not actually a mirror, it's just a glass pane. And what that means is that there never was a mirror. And furthermore, whatever we saw back there was mimicking our actions exactly. There's some paranoia fuel for you. When we actually encounter our reflections, we'll see what they do, and it turns out that they are duplighosts. Anyway, if we title this duplighost right here, disguised as Bombette, we actually get a little bit more information about her, too. So let's see what they think of Bombette. She looks cute, but she's dangerous. So essentially, she's like an explosive Powerpuff Girl. Or a child murderer or something, I don't know. Not a murderer of children, but a child who murders. This is going in a dark direction. Right, so if we go this way, we'll see that we're actually behind the reflection, which means there's an entire second half of the dungeon that's perfectly mirrored to the locations we were in a moment ago. Which is a really neat idea, actually. If we try to leave the area this way, we actually find a star piece here. There's no real further way of progressing, so the mirror version of this world ends back there, and I suppose that's where it ends. Seems that this particular thing is specific to Crystal Palace. So we can certainly use that. Oh, there was also Duplicos there, and it looks like this time we've got him to mimic Pericari, which is the next character in line. So let's see what the characters think of him. So he's intelligent. So he's intelligent and serious. You see, we would never get that in the game otherwise, because you would sort of imagine that he's almost sort of a ditz compared to the way he acts, you know, how he's always constantly dropping letters and that sort of stuff. He's certainly dutiful. I won't question how dutiful he is. He certainly gets work done, as far as delivering letters go. But it's sort of a side you don't really get to know until you actually explore that a bit. So let's see if we can get this Duplicos to tell us a little bit about Bo. We don't really need to do this for gameplay, by the way. This is just something I'm really curious about. Right. Well, okay, more of a joke than actual information on the character, but I think we know her pretty well. She's the sort of character who lives in a mansion, has a butler, commands authority. And I suppose that line of dialogue actually implies it, too, because she commands authority through her slaps, and, you know, even Mario and Goombario are afraid of her. See, it's stuff like that. That's the sort of stuff that you have to go questing for in the game. You wouldn't know that information unless you chased after it. But you learn a little bit more about the partner characters you're with. You know, the partner characters who are now developing and seeing a little bit more information about them. I'm sorry, I don't want to rant again, but just a brief moment again. We were talking about Sticker Star 2 episodes ago. Another thing they mentioned is that they didn't want to have partners in the game either, because I thought it would be too close to Thousand Year Door. So they opted to have, you know, instead of partners and badges and stuff, they just had stickers. Like, they sort of try to say that characters and character development was in and of itself a gimmick, and that it wasn't necessary for an RPG, especially what they were up to. And again, I really don't like the idea that character development and partner characters and stuff, I really don't like the implication that they are a gimmick or expendable. Especially in an RPG. That sort of part stings a bit. By they, I'm referring to the people who were in that interview earlier, the game developers. It's unnerving. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say on that. I'm trying to show you fellows here who are watching the video the importance of character development, or actually seeing the characters do things. This may only appeal to a few people, but I don't know. It's the sort of thing about Let's Plays and playing old N64 games that lets you explore your childhood a bit more. I think that's one of the major reasons why I like playing games and making animations about games. It lets you do something you couldn't ordinarily do otherwise in a game. For the most part, anyway. Anyway, I just remembered that something important's coming up, so I think I want to save before I do anything else. And I promise I'm going to stop ranting about, Sticker Star. I know there are plenty of people who like it, and I don't want to get on their nerves, so we'll just leave it at that and say I'm not fond of the ideas. Anyway, by trying to progress through this way, something curious happens. And you thought the situation prior was bad. I don't know. Well, aren't you glamorous today, Vomit? Why, Babette, your tone of voice makes it sound like you're trying to seduce us. Interesting. Ugh. That Vomit sounds like it talks like a YouTube commenter. You know, the kind that do a lot of excess punctuation. Not really sure what to make of that one. Right, so the obvious thing we're supposed to do here is we're supposed to, attack the, bombettes that don't have anything weird behind their, like, in their text bubbles. Like, that one has, has hearts, and that one has multiple exclamation points. You're supposed to attack the one that just talks, you're supposed to attack all the ones except for the one that talks normally. So, go for the ones with the gimmicked, text boxes. If you try to leave, by the way, they'll force you to, do this. So, attack the gimmicks, basically. And if you attack the gimmicks, what happens is you don't have to fight them, they'll just flee. But if you attack the real one at any point during this, you'll have to fight any of the remaining, duplighosts. And if you're not prepared for that, that could actually be quite a dangerous situation. How do you notice that behind Mario? He's still got a shadow behind him as though there were a partner there still. You see that? So what happens when the real Bombette rejoins your... Oh, the shadow disappears. Right, so if you choose the alternate option, look at that, the shadow's still following Mario. So it's like the partner character's still there, they just blanked out the sprite and replaced it with these guys. That's kind of silly, actually. I think they should have eliminated the shadow texture there, too. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to attack the actual Bombette, which seems like a terrible idea right now because she threatened to kill us in the previous timeline. If we attack the real one, then all the other ones are going to come fight us. The thing that we can do regarding that is that we can actually attack them like this and get a little bit more experience points. So, if you want to get more experience points, that's what you do. Hopefully Bombette won't hold a grudge. You're not going to hold it against us, right? Is that right? Okay, she's not saying anything to us now. Maybe that's good news. Right. So the red key. That gets us... Whoa. I don't like the way she's behaving. She's acting sort of crazy. But yeah, but the right thing you're supposed to do is take that red key and, you know, go back and, put it in the slot. I actually didn't even notice, mention this, but when we were on the other side of the mirror, we destroyed the wooden panel. And then by coming over here, that red X we saw earlier is actually gone. So, something that we did in the mirror world affects the stuff that happens in the actual world. And I shouldn't mention them as actual worlds, they're just locations in the thing. Locations in the, temple. But it sort of implies that there's something magical or strange going on here. And they never explained it too. I like that about this game. It doesn't have to bother to explain itself when something insignificant happens, but it lets you speculate. So by doing this, we're setting up the level to its original design. So all we have to do is... Bombette, you are freaking me out.